folks, it's Mike with Backyard Airguns. Today I'm here to do a review, first ever review on a rifle scope. The vendor, One Leaf, sent me this scope and asked me to do a review on it. It's the first time I've done a review on a scope. I'm very familiar with scopes. I use lots of scopes, all different brands. This is a digital scope. So I've looked up the scope on the internet and went through all the specs. It's feature packed. If it lives up to the specs, it should be a really good review. But again, you know me, I'm going to put it through the test, field test, backyard test, rifle test. So I just want to take you through what's in the box, okay? And then I'm going to take you through what all the specs on this scope are. The scope is really well packed. I went in and deboxed at the same time, okay? The first thing on this scope is it's got some mass to it. I think it's 2.4 pounds, okay? It's all aluminum and electronics. There's nothing flimsy. There's nothing rattling in this piece here, but it's got some beef to it. 2.4 pounds is the weight of this scope, okay? As far as some of the accessories that come with it, you know me, I'm a stickler for a good manual. This is actually a really good manual. It's in color, okay? It's easy to read. It's in the right language, okay? So, and also you can download this manual in a PDF and print it out, you know, full size if you want. But the manual is actually really good on this. Comes with the cables. It comes with an HDMI cable and a USB-C cable. It comes with a larger battery cap. So if you want to put an extra large battery to power this, you can do it with this additional cap they sent you. And again, it's aluminum. Comes with a sunshade. So like right here, okay, during the daytime, okay, to limit the light, they've got this piece here, okay, that kind of closes the diaphragm a little bit during the daytime. So during the daytime, you're supposed to have this shut. Okay, in bright light, you screw this on. Okay, it's a sunshade. So at nighttime, when you're filming at night, you need all the light. You just open that up, okay? What else does it come with? It comes with two eye relief pieces, and they're in different sizes. So you got one that's a little bit shorter, okay? So I think that's really neat. And they're threaded on too. They don't just slide on. It's a nice thread on. If you get the scope by itself, I think comes with this as standard. This infrared or this rangefinder here is $148. Okay. Without the rangefinder, you can get this scope online, as you see here, for $500. And based on the specs on it, if it does everything it says it'll do, that's an amazing price. If you add the rangefinder, it's another $150, so $650 with the rangefinder. Okay, so let me go through some of the specs on this scope here. I got a list here. It's called the One Leaf Commander NV400 scope. It is a 4x52 power, 50 millimeter objective lens. So you just got to stop and think about that. 4x52 power is extreme zoom, okay? So can't wait to test this. I'm going to actually take this out to the 100-yard range and see how does it compare against other high-end scopes with that 52x zoom on it. It's a digital scope, okay? So it records everything in digital 4K. The resolution on this scope is 3860 by 2228. That is true 4K. It uses 6 optical lenses to really give you a bright and sharp image when you record and also when you view it in your viewfinder. It records in 4K at 120 frames a second. So, I mean, I've got cameras I shoot videos with, they do 4K at 30 frames a second. But then to go 60 and then go up to 120 is really off the chart specs as far as recording in 4K. 3 modes. It's got day mode, which we talked about. It's got night mode, so it films in the dark. Okay, I really want to test that out, see how accurate that is. It's also got a mode called starry mode, which is kind of like a twilight mode. It's got an infrared illuminator right here, which helps you film at night. So even though it's dark, it sends infrared pulses down there and brightens up the target down there. And this infrared illuminator, okay, you can adjust this far and near. So I don't know if you can see this here. You can actually pull this out to far, or if you want to zoom in near to a certain spot you're trying to illuminate, You can do that. It's also got 3 power settings. So it's got 3 different modes of brightness on the illuminator. So it's a really, really nice illuminator to capture the night vision. It's got a laser finder, okay, built into all electronics on the scope. So if you're aiming, trying to determine the distance to a target, you just bump this laser finder, which is this top button. You just bump it, boom, it shoots out there and tells you up in the screen, 100 yards to 10 yards, 50 yards, whatever. So really nice to have this laser finder all built into the scope and also built into the electronics of the scope. One shot zero. Okay, so a lot of your digital scopes, that's a really nice option. So you don't have normal turrets to adjust left, right, up, and down. You got what's called one shot zeros. Another cool feature on the scope, it's got both first focal plane and second focal plane. Okay, a normal scope, you get one or the other. You don't get both. So this has got digital first focal plane and digital second focal plane. Second focal plane, the reticle stays the same size no matter how far you zoom in. First focal plane, as you zoom in, you get more detail on the reticle. You can switch back and forth between the two. It's got 7 reticle formats in it. So, mil dot, MOA, red dot, again, 7 different reticles. And it's got 5 different colors. Another great feature on the scope, it's got 9-hour battery life, and it's got 2 battery sources, right? It's got 2 internal rechargeable batteries that are fixed. You can't take these out inside the scope, okay? That you just simply plug up a USB-C to charge the scope, okay? And in addition to that, it's got an additional battery compartment for it's called dual battery. Right here. So in addition to your internal batteries, you can put these rechargeable batteries in there as a 3rd battery, okay, and just get longer battery life. Okay, you can also have extra of these batteries if you need it, but 9 hours is a lot of filming for one shoot. It's recoil resistance up to 7,000 joules, so you can put this on a powerful rifle, okay, and not damage the scope. I believe I saw a spec that says you can go up to a 308 powered rimfire rifle using this scope. It's feature rich. It's got specs out to the So I'm going to put it to the test. I'm going to take several weeks and take this to the range, put it in the backyard, do all the types of filming with it to see, does it really do everything it says it does. But if it does, at that price, it's going to be an amazing scope. We'll follow up. One of the cool features on this scope, it's got HDMI out of the scope. So, you can look through the viewfinder. It's got a nice viewfinder, but from a bench rest setting like I got here, okay, you can get a little monitor from Amazon under $100 that will put everything out of the scope onto a big monitor. So this is like a 15 inch monitor, okay, and everything I see in the scope, okay, it's now on a 15-inch screen. Again, it's a bench rest setup, right? Just obviously you couldn't do this out hunting. All right, let's take you through the menu options on this new one-leaf scope. So it's got 6 different reticles. So if I push the button, here's the different reticles you get. These are all really nice. There's several of them, a couple of them that I like. That last one there is a nice one. So let's go back to the menu. Long press. Okay. So you got actually 7 different reticle types. Reticle colors. You got press that. You got 5 different colors. The shot zero. This is kind of nice. So. I'm going to line up on this target right here. I'm going to unzoom a little bit. Okay. Okay. So you see how far that reticle is off. Again, I haven't used it; hasn't been zeroed in yet. So now here's how you would zero this in. Stop recording. Okay, menu. Okay, go down to one shot zero. Okay, and when you press it here, okay, you're going to move the red crosshair to where you get the bullet hit. Okay, the first is going to do the horizontal. Okay, so I'm going to slide it over. That's lined up there. I'll press it, short press. Now I'm going to go down. When you got on a bench set up like this with the Saber Tactile Pro and the Accutech monopod or bipod, gun stays really stable. Okay, so now I'm lined up where I hit. I press short, okay, and I press the record button. It says okay. Press again to save it. Save successfully. Okay. So now I'm going to long press to get out of the menu options. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in. And you can see where I'm. Okay, that's where the gun was aiming at, although I was aiming, at the big target, right? So now let's adjust this. Okay. Bullseye. One shot zero. That's really a nice option. Really a nice option. Okay, let's keep going through the menu options here. Oh, I didn't record that. Let me record that. Nice. Okay. Let's go through these other menu options that are important. Again, long press. Menu comes up. So we talk about reticle type, reticle color, shot zero. Went through that. Position. These are just your reticles, and again, you could different bullets or slugs, whatever, might have a different setting on the scope. This allows you to have basically 6 different profiles on the same scope. It's really nice. Really, really nice. All right, so that was 4. Screen aspect, 16:9 is what I always use. Movie mode, okay, during the daytime, it's best to shoot in 4K, 120 frames per second. By doing that, that's the best video quality you can get. At nighttime, it's recommended that you shoot 4K and 30 frames per second. So we're shooting right now at 120 frames per second. One other thing I want to show you, during the daytime, you've got this lens cap here that kind of limits the light, which you want to do in the daytime. On the nighttime, you take this off, and also you just open this up like so, okay, to let more light in. Okay, but during the daytime, especially if it's bright, keep that shut like that. If I show the movie modes, I got 4K at 30 frames, 4K 60 frames, 120 frames, 2K at 30 frames, and then full HD. Okay, so we're going to leave it at 120. Keep going. This is really cool. Photo resolution. I mean, you can take a 48 megapixel picture with this thing. I've got it set to 12. Magnification adjustment. Now this one I was playing with. Okay, so you got 2 options, 0.2 and 1. You want to leave it on 1 because if you put it on 0.2, when you zoom in, it just goes a little bit at a time. So you're constantly turning this. Leave it on 1. That's your zoom. You can control it. If you want to get really fine with your zoom, you can go to 0.2, but just leave the magnification adjustments on 1. It works better. This is neat. First focal plane and second focal plane. You can have both, right? Not at the same time, but if you don't want that reticle getting bigger or smaller, if you want the same size reticle, go to a second focal plane. If you like the reticle to expand as you zoom in and go out, then put it on first focal plane. But right now I've got it set on first. Day, starry, and night. Okay, these are the 3 shooting modes. Obviously, I'm in day mode right now. It's daylight. Starry mode is like a twilight mode. Okay, so you're starting to get a little dusk. You can switch over to the starry mode, and again, it's used for basically a twilight. And then you got the night mode. This thing will shoot hole in hole at 30 yards in pitch black darkness. All right, folks, here's some recorded video from the scope. This is what it actually outputs to. This is actually in 30 frames per second. I just forgot to switch over to the higher frames per second. So this is 4K, 30 frames per second. This is in low light too. This is about 6:30ish in December, so it's not pitch black, but it's not daylight either. The recording quality on this is really good. I mean, just you would have trouble knowing this was the digital scope. Right here I switched over to the starry mode again. Twilight, dusk. When you got low light, this is when you can use the starry mode. It kind of makes some of the colors more vibrant. So yeah, this got its uses, but it's a narrow window, right? So you're really only going to use this at sunrise or sundown is when you would want to use this the starry mode. Okay, here's when I think I switched on the same clip. I just switched it over to the nighttime mode, and again, the nighttime mode on this is really good. It's really crisp for very low light. Again, it's not pitch black out there, but it's it's getting low light, and just the colors, or not the colors, the black and white imagery on this is it's good. I mean, it's really good. All right, folks, here's the whole list of menu options inside this scope. I just went over the first page, right? There's 4 pages. I went over the first page. The first page obviously is the most important menu items, the ones you actually use, daily when you're using it or nightly. Okay, and then there's 3 more pages of options on this scope. Obviously, I'm not gonna go through all these because it'd take up too much time, but inside the scope, the menus are really big and they're really easy to get down to. So you can only see one page at a time. So when you first hold the menu button down, okay, the first page comes up, the ones with the most used, most important options. And if you want to go over to the second page or third page, you can scroll down through it, or you can push a button on the left or right of the top 3 buttons, and it'll just page over. Okay, so obviously the first ones are the most the most used and the most important. But I want to show everybody what the the other options are that you have on these menus. Some of the key functions on the scope are the mode. Okay, so if I switch this twilight mode, it's probably gonna be too bright in the daytime, but if I just switch over, that's the starlight mode, right? Okay, that shows up better again later in the day, sun starting to set. That shows up really good. If I press it again, I get night mode. Okay, black and white night mode. Now, notice my yardage is still on, so I'm just going to bump that to take it off. Okay, this is night mode. Okay, and again, it sees in the dark. It sees really good in the dark. Okay, if I come out of if I go back over to day mode, switches over. Okay. It's got compass and gyro settings on it. So you see right now I'm at 0, which means this scope is level. That also aligns with this bubble I got in the rear scope. If I were to camp this scope or this rifle, see this setting right here? Okay, it's telling you your scope's not level. So even if you didn't have a bubble on your scope, you can use or your rifle, you can use the scope to tell exactly when it's level. You'll always want to keep it at 0. Okay. Now I'm at 0. I'm going to take it out to the range. I want to see what this thing will do at 100 yards. I got a Night Force scope, which is a really high-end scope that I use for my 100-yard shooting competition whenever I go. I want to see what this will do at 100 yards, especially using the big display over here, where you're not looking through a scope, you're looking at a 15-inch display zoomed in. So we'll be back. I'm just going to give you the top 10 things I love about this scope. First, 52x magnification, 4x52. So prior to this scope, the largest scope I had was 32x. So go from 32 to 52 at long range. So if I'm doing 100-yard target practicing at the range, to be able to bring the target, really close is huge. 13x digital zoom is just a really powerful scope. It records in 4K, true 4K, at 120 frames per second. The built-in rangefinder, okay, this is really nice. The fact that it's built into the electronics of the scope, so it's not a side object where you got a rifle scope and you have to look over here at the rangefinder. It's all built in. So if I want to know what range I'm looking at, I just press the button, boom, it pops up. Another feature I love about this scope is the build quality. Again, as soon as you pick it up, like, whoa, one, it's got beef to it, right? But the build quality is just evident, okay, from the threaded eyepiece, okay? It's got aluminum threads on this thing, okay? So this is not going to pop off. It's not spongy. It threads in. It comes with two. The lens cap, right? It's either open or it's closed. And when it's closed, you know it's closed. It snaps. All the caps on it. Look at the battery cap, okay? This cap here, it's got O-rings in it, right? So it's got O-rings in it to keep, any moisture or water from getting in there. So just the overall build quality is really nice on this scope. It has HDMI out. So on this side over here, when you take this off, you got HDMI out, you got USB-C, and you got a micro flash card. But the fact that you can send the output, the true output of this scope that you're looking to in a viewfinder to a phone, a tablet, or a little external monitor, as I've shown, is really a nice feature that I'll use a lot. It has 6 profile settings. Okay, so if you put this scope on one of your guns, okay, and you want to be able to adjust different turret settings, you don't have to spin anything, right? You just go to profile number 6, which might be your 100-yard profile. If you want to switch back to 50-yard profile, you go to profile number 3, and it does it automatically, right? So you're not twisting turrets to get to different elevations on on the scope. Or if you've got different weight projectiles, some heavier projectiles going to have a little bit different pitch than a lighter weight projectile. Again, with the 6 profiles, it's all in there. This scope shoots accurately in the dark. Okay, I came out here at night, hole in hole, 30 yards downfield, in the dark, and it shoots like it was daytime. So that's a really nice feature. Another feature I love on the scope, the one-shot zero. Okay, it truly works. So you take a shot, it's off target, you hit one-shot zero, you move the cursor where you hit, boom, and that's it. Next shot will be right on target. I've demonstrated that many times with this. The one-shot zero, it does very accurately. Another feature is the scope is accurate. Okay, so wherever you put the reticle, if you got it set right, that's where the projectile's going to go. The scope there's no wiggle room or tolerance in there for the reticle to be off a little bit. It shoots pinpoint accurate, which is a really great feature in the scope. And then we get to my last item on the scope, and that is price. I went and checked the internet before I published this video to make sure I had the right and latest prices. If you use the affiliate link in my description on this video, that is the lowest price on the internet, $4.99 without the rangefinder. And if you apply the discount code there, you get another 5% off of that. And for my zip code, the shipping was $50. That puts you out the door at $524 for the scope without the rangefinder, and that includes 64 gig SIM card. If you add the rangefinder, I think the rangefinder is $149. That puts the price at $658 on the scope with the rangefinder, with the SIM card. Again, apply the discount code, you get $32.90 off that, and shipping is $50, puts you out the door at $675. So make sure everybody's got the latest and greatest prices. All right, folks, I got to recommend this scope. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back. Thanks.